Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today we are reviewing the final book in the Accursed Kings series, and I was super excited to start this book. I had never read it before and I had my hopes really high. For a king without a kingdom, even the name sounds brilliant, but I found myself bitterly disappointed by the fact this entire book is narrated in the third person by a travelling cardinal we have never met before. When the book started off in this style, I thought it was simply going to be a prologue, a sort of George R. R. Martin thing where the guy dies at the end. But after getting a quarter of the way through this book and not finding any change in the writing style, I felt incredibly let down. After investing so much time and effort in this series, this choice of a third-person style is such a cop-out, lack of effort decision on Maurice Druon's part. This amazing story about a great dynasty deserves a better ending than this third-person narrative final book. I know that this book was written about 10 years after The Lily and the Lion, but that doesn't make up for the fact that it feels like a completely different series. We also skip forward massively in time, so it's hard to connect with any of these third-person narrated characters that we haven't even met. I think it would be slightly different if it was narrated closer to when we finished The Lily and the Lion instead of 20 odd years on. The book also covers a large segment of time, maybe 10 or 8 years, so you're reading it and it's all going very quickly, whereas the first books take place over 10 years. So the style choice is jarring and the pacing is completely off. There are interesting segments to this book. I enjoyed learning about Charles the Bad, King of Navarre, Marguerite's grandson. Charles causing havoc in France is the best revenge for what happened to his grandmother Marguerite, and his punishment once he is caught. Being imprisoned in Chateau Gaillard like his grandmother was so perfectly cruel. It tormented him mentally, and all the different punishments the king thought up for him, like having him tied in rope so he thinks he's going to be thrown in the river, having chains brought in, just the mental manipulation in that is medieval mind games taken to the next level. Blocking up the chimney so his room fills with smoke and he can't breathe. Who's thinking these up, Maurice Druon? You obviously have a twisted side. I know he's dead, but still. I also really enjoyed seeing John of Artois, Robert of Artois' oldest son, who looks so much like his giant of a father, but unfortunately doesn't have his brain. It was also good to hear what happened to his family, how they were kept in prison after he rebelled against the king, went into exile, joined the English, and what happened to his wife and children. There are consequences for everything, even if he didn't get to see them himself. Because Robert of Artois really was the main protagonist in the first 5 books. Him and maybe Isabella and Guccio and Marie. But apart from these 2 segments, the book mainly focuses on John II's inept military campaigns, and that bores me to tears. If I had to hear anything else about his bombards, or his sieges, or the Order of the Star, I was just like, let's get this book over with at this point. Not only is A King Without a Kingdom a bad ending to the Accursed Kings series, but it has also given me the fear that A Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring might follow similar paths, especially A Dream of Spring, as we've already had segments from The Winds of Winter, but it would follow the same pattern. A large amount of time passes, and then the final book in a beloved series covers a large amount of time based in a third-person narrative to make it easier for the author. I am now terrified George R. R. Martin, who was inspired to write A Song of Ice and Fire by the Accursed Kings series, is going to follow a similar path. Does anybody else share these fears? Please let me know, because I'm reeling from figuring this out. A King Without a Kingdom, as a story and a book, had so much potential, and I felt let down by Maurice Druon's cop-out choice. I give this book 3 out of 10, and Goodreads gives it 3.4 stars out of 5, which I think is overly generous. But what do you think? Leave a comment. I have heard a lot on some of the forums I'm on and some of the Facebook groups I am part of that many people have been let down by A King Without a Kingdom, because I've been posting about the other content I've been making about the earlier books in this series, and I keep getting the same one. The last book's terrible. The last book's terrible. So, has anybody else felt the same way? Remember to subscribe to this channel, because I have multiple playlists about the Accursed Kings series where I compare characters from the Accursed Kings series to A Song of Ice and Fire characters. I also cover House of the Dragon in great detail, and I have a video coming out very soon where I will be ranking all the Accursed King books from best to worst. So make sure and subscribe so you don't miss that. Also, like this video so Edward III doesn't invade my house and decide to make himself king of it. Until next time, everybody, goodbye. Do not do anything silly and get banished like Robert of Artois. Until next time, bye.